local all morning. The Fox 61 Morning News starts now.
And right now at 6, two 16-year-old boys recovering after being shot in Hartford.
At the Capitol, Governor Lamont is expected to unveil new proposals for gun reforms in our state. Brooke Griffin is going to have the very latest.
Plus, some big questions about the future of COVID prevention. Could the vaccine become a yearly thing?
Good morning. Thanks so much for being with us this Thursday here at Fox 61 America Areas.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Let's turn things over to meteorologist Matt Scott. Curious to see what the snow totals in various parts of the state were like.
Well, the snow,
not a lot.
The snow was low, the rain was high, and that's kind of what we called for. And now that we're done with the storm for the most part, we're going to deal with the winds for today. Good morning, everybody. At 6 o'clock, here's what you need to know. The rain's moving out. Had a couple of last showers in the last 90 minutes or so, pushing off to the north and east. It's a breezy Thursday post-storm. Wind gusts are going to be up there a bit. Stand by for that. And in the 7A, which includes the weekend, it's a mostly quiet few days ahead. There's your advisories. The warnings continue for northern parts of New England, but not for Connecticut. We are all done. We are dealing with some low cloud coverage out there. Not quite foggy, but we are seeing visibility reduced. 40 in Hartford. Look at New Haven. These are not typos. 52 degrees. You've got low 50s in the southeast corner, but look up to the northwest. Temperatures drop considerably as that cooler air rushes in. We've already hit the highs for today. There goes the rain over the last 3 hours. And this is certainly, you can handle this east of 395. The bigger problems are off towards Boston and the Back Bay down to the Cape, still dealing with some moderate rainfall. A southwesterly wind is what we have now, and again, it will be breezy, so these temperatures won't feel that warm. Calling it mostly cloudy now, mostly cloudy later on, although we will start to clear things out a bit. Temperatures kind of level there in the low to mid 40s. All right, we'll have a look at a full forecast coming up in a few minutes at 6:02. Let's check traffic right now. Here's Lauren Zenzi.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a great Thursday morning so far. Do want to bring our attention down into the Westbrook area. Route 1 in the area of Kelsey Point Road, otherwise known as Boston Post Road, Route 1 is closed as of right now. They didn't say how big the stretch of the closure is, but this is due to a structure fire at a motel. We do have a crew on the way to the scene getting more information on that. So we'll keep you up to date here on air, online, on our Fox 61 News app. Also down in Stratford, on the southbound side of I-95, the exit 30 off-ramp is currently closed due to a one-car crash. And then over in Tolland, some good news. Route 140 was closed because of a crash. It is now reopened. Taking a live look out in Hartford, I-91 north and southbound. No, the cars are not frozen. It is the camera's just frozen. Traffic is moving freely on both the north and the southbound side. Taking a live look out in New Haven, some heavier volume out there on the southbound side of I-95. Northbound moving just fine. Those delays starting to build up. That heavier volume, Bridgeport to Fairfield, traffic moving at about 45 miles an hour. It'll take you about 7 minutes to get there. We'll check back in on the roads coming up in the next half hour. Tim and Erica, good morning to you.
Lauren, good morning to you. And we're getting back to that breaking news you just mentioned in Westbrook. Crews there are responding to a fire at the Cabins Motel, again on Boston Post Road. Now, we do know that Old Saybrook is helping out with the fire. State police say crews are responding to that fire, and we're going to have a little bit more details throughout the morning. Unfortunately, they're limited. It is breaking news, but we do know that that area, the road is closed right now. Kelsey Road Point. We do have a crew heading there. We're going to get more information to you as soon as we can, but you can always check back online on fox61.com and also on our news app.
Got developing news this morning. Hartford police said two 16-year-old boys were shot. They were both found near the intersection of Homestead and Garden Streets just before 8 o'clock last night. The good news is both of them are expected to survive. They both got treated at hospitals. Police have not yet announced any arrests or suspects, but at this point they did say they are investigating. Well, Governor Ned Lamont is expected to announce new gun legislation proposals this morning, this time focusing on specifically preventing mass shootings.
Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live at the Capitol this morning with more on what we can expect to hear from him later. Brooke, good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you both. Today's announcement will be the second out of 4 pieces of gun control legislation the governor is proposing. He said on Monday, Connecticut already has the strongest gun laws in the country, but this series of gun reform legislation would make the state, he says, just that much safer. Now, today, the governor will elaborate on his plans and expectations for preventing specifically a mass shooting situation here in Connecticut. This coming as there have been almost 70 people killed in 39 different mass shootings across the country just this year, according to the New York Times. We'll find out the specifics of this second piece of gun law legislation aimed at preventing those mass shootings later this morning. Governor Lamont said on Monday in his first announcement that he is using this series of legislation to lower the amount of any kind of gun violence in Connecticut. He has proposed a ban on the open carrying of firearms in public, wants to limit handgun purchases to only 1 per month, and update the state's ban on unregistered ghost guns to stop their illegal flow. Now, this is all in addition to the current state gun laws, which are the strictest in the country. On Monday, he also proposed investing an additional $2.5 million to community violence intervention programs. He says this is all part of his priorities package for the 2023 legislative session.
I think Connecticut will continue to take the lead. We've taken the lead on reasonable gun safety laws going back to Sandy Hook and well before that. And you've heard they work. Our crime rate, our shooting rate, our murder rates are much lower than they are in states that don't take this seriously, don't take policing as seriously, don't take gun safety as seriously. And we're building on that, doing everything you can to keep you safe and make sure each and every one of our kids get the very best opportunity.
And there were several different topics that he hit in that 2023 package of priorities that he spoke about earlier this month. But this series, this 4-part series of gun control legislation, he says is going to be a very large topic that he's hitting on. And in February, he will be proposing that to the Connecticut General Assembly. That will be coming up next month. Live in Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61 News.
Brooke, thank you. All right, well, COVID-19 is not going away, so the vaccine could become yearly, just like the flu shot.
Yeah, the Food and Drug Administration proposed the change, which is being weighed in a meeting with outside advisors today.
Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is joining us now in the studio to break this down. Lindsay, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, this is super important for the effort to get more people vaccinated. Right now, more than 80% of people across the country have had at least 1 dose of the vaccine, but only 16% have received the latest booster that was authorized this summer. So if this change for a yearly dose is approved, it would make it easier for people to get their shots. The local experts say there are still many questions that need to be answered. Earlier this week, the Food and Drug Administration proposed a change to the COVID-19 vaccination process, which would eliminate all the booster shots every few months, and instead, the process would look more like a flu vaccine, just 1 shot a year. The FDA says many Americans now have some immunity against the coronavirus because of previous vaccinations or catching the virus. And in some people, it's a combination of the two. Scientists say that protection should be enough to move to an annual booster for COVID-19. The FDA panel vote will be a little more complex. They have to weigh in on what changes should be made for people with weakened immune systems. They'll need to look at data to see if 1 yearly dose is sufficient enough to protect people with underlying conditions. Panelists also need to decide what that yearly dose would look like. Much like the flu vaccine that targets the latest strains of influenza, experts would have to identify the latest strains of the coronavirus and develop a yearly vaccine to target those latest variants. Luis Diaz, the chief medical officer of Charter Oak Health, says there are still many questions that need to be answered before any plans are in place.
And the evidence-based data is still pending. It looks promising. It does seem like going to that yearly shot, just like with the influenza shot, should be something that will work and that will prevent the recurrence of another period of pandemic. But we need to really look closely and examine the data.
The FDA is hoping this change will increase vaccination rates across the country, hoping convenience will encourage people to roll up their sleeves for a dose. And that FDA meeting with the outside vaccine experts is happening today, where they'll weigh these changes. So stick with Fox 61 for those updates. Tim and Erica, back over to you.
Lindsay, thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, right now it's 6:09, and if you are out and about today in Bloomfield, you may notice some extra police officers around several shopping plazas in town. The department says this includes the Copaco Shopping Plaza on Cottage Grove Road. It is in response to thefts being reported at several businesses there.
All right, in New Haven, firefighters had to use the jaws of life to get to a driver trapped inside of a crashed car. Police said that driver ran a stop sign and hit a truck at the intersection of Blatchley Avenue and Peck Street last night. They said after that, the car spun sideways and hit a tree. Police said the driver is being treated for serious, maybe life-threatening injuries. There's no word yet if any charges will be filed.